Magandang gabi. Ako po si Trixie Cruz-Angeles and masyadong marami sunod-sunod yung mga pangyayari sa ating politika. Hindi natin maiiwasan ito dahil nga mag-e-election na nitong 2022. At nagkakandara pa na ang ating oposisyon at naghahanap ng kanilang maaaring ikandidato sa susunod na halalan. Well, naghahanap ba sila? O meron na silang actual line-up? Hindi lang nila mailabas ngayon for fear na matulad sila dun sa mga premature na nagka-campaign o premature na lumalabas yung mga pangalan. Magandang gabi sa lahat. Ako po si Trixie Cruz-Angeles. This is Luminous. Double check ko lang yung ating Facebook. So, a few days ago, or was it the other day lang, naglabas ng parang poster, yung One Sambayan, yung United Opposition, nagkaisa, nakalagay makatao, makabayan, makadiyos. All catchwords because we know that it is already elections. Okay, so dahil election na nga, you're going to hear a lot of words. Sa larangan ng komunikasyon, maririnig na natin yung mga words na bayan, pagmamahal sa bayan, patriotism. Makakakita tayo ng mga kulay. Kulay ng na red, blue, at yellow, sabay-sabay. The colors of the flag. All of the candidates will be falling all over themselves to tell you na mahal nila yung bayan at ipaglalaban nila kayo. This is traditional campaign rhetoric, meaning expect to hear more kahit gasgas na gasgas na yung mga phrases na yun. Diba? Magandang gabi sa lahat. Santi Santero, si Eric, dyan. Junjun Manuel Asol, Sir Benji Daisy Contreras, Charlton Aklan. Bakit parang konti yung 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 nasa YouTube natin. Okay, magandang gabi. So, doon sa lumabas na parang poster, andyan yung mga under makatao, Lenny, Laila, Grace po, Kiko, Risa. After that, makabayan, Bam, Trillanes, Shell Jokno, Choi Colmenares, Jojo Binay, and Calyodi de Guzman of, what's that labor group? Anyway, okay. Next, nakita natin nandyan sa Honor Makadiyos, Samira Gutok, Joel Villanueva, Justice Antonio Carpio, former Justice and Supreme Court Justice Antonio Carpio, Vilma Santos, and Mig Zubiri. May problema dito sa ano na ito. Okay, may problema tayo dito sa nilabas na ito. At least 3 people now have said na bakit kami naisali dyan. Grace po says she is not with the opposition. She remains an independent. Mig Zubiri has vehemently denied na bahagi siya nito. And lately, Joel Villanueva has done the same. Ginang kasi si Joel Villanueva when he ran in 2016. Kaya medyo naiintindihan natin kung bakit ayaw niyang maisali siya dito sa coalition na ito. Diba? Medyo sablay nga yung nag-include ng mga pangalan nila dito. That's very interesting lang na parang unang-unang one sambayan has already made their first faux pas. You've had people coming out rejecting being part of your coalition. Not a good way to start a coalition na ganyan yung meron nung humihirit na, oops, di kami kasali dyan. Diba? Ang saya. Right. Next. Doon sa, sino pa ba yung out? Villanueva po and Zubiri. Of course, we still have to hear from the others. Ngayon, nagpresentasyon kaninang alas 10 ng umaga itong One Sambayan. And supposedly, they call themselves first a conveners group. Tapos second, they also call themselves, they're conveners group and they will make recommendations daw kung sino ang magiging kandidato ng United Opposition. At sinasabi nga nila na dun sa mga grupo na sumali sa kanila, maliwanag na they all came to an agreement, they all came to, at sinabing, para dun sa mga mamimili, dun sa mga grupo, hindi sila pwedeng tumanggi dun sa mapipili na kandidato. Meron mga chika-chika na lumalabas, mga bulong-bulong na ang lalabas dito ay, of course, mga names na lumilitaw, Lenny Robredo, Isko Moreno, Nancy Binay, and one other. Diba? Um, is it, are they really the ones? Di natin alam. For all we know, sila-sila din ang naglalabas ng mga pangalan na yun to test the waters. O, but at the same time, sinabi ng one sambayan na, ay, si Sara Duterte does not fall into their category kasi nire-raise nila yung mga issues na such as we see EG case, authoritarianism, and so on. What a way to start their so-called unification. But the one other thing that we will notice with this one sambayan, ang sinasabi nila, they're democratic. So, and they're trying to, ang pinapakita nila, halimbawa sa kanilang mga miyembro, at sila ay makadiyos, like their poster says, makabayan, at makatao. Okay, so they're against, they're pro-human rights, they want to uphold the ideals of democracy and all that. Pero surprisingly, kasama kasama sa kanila are unusually two groups, Bayan Muna and Magdalo. 'Di ba? Makikita tumataginting talaga ang mga lumilitaw na pangalan nila with Joy Colmenares and Sunny Trillanes in their makabayan lineup. Bakit kasama sila if they are democratic? Remember, the Magdalo attempted to overthrow a sitting authority. Not once, but three times. And of course, Bayan Muna makes no secret of the fact na they uphold the ideals that are also upheld by the communist terrorist groups. Diba? Isn't that very interesting? Pero democratic daw ang One Sambayan. Kakaiba naman talaga sila. So, but the one thing that's interesting is then sa paglalabas nila, it makes things far more interesting now. And it's also interesting, nababanggitin nila, well, of course, tinanong sila no, tungkol kay Inday Sara, and they just say that, oh, she doesn't fall into the criteria. Teka, ano bang criteria nila? Ganito ba yun? Makatao, makabayan, makajos? Really? Eh bakit? Parang interesting. Although tinanggihan na sila ni Senator Joel, nilagay ba nila si Senator Joel doon under makajos because he's connected to the JIL or or to a religious organization? Is Samira Gutok there because the only characteristic that people remember is the fact that she's Muslim and so on, di ba? But again, they start off on the wrong foot, tatlo na kagad ang tumanggi sa kanila. What about yung ibang mga chika? What about the other people who are supposedly being bandied about as their candidates? Well, candidates for president o yung mga pinagpipilian nila? Well, that's also interesting because I don't see any persons falling all over themselves to be the united opposition candidate. And just a few days ago, sinabi na rin ni Senator Kiko, hindi siya tatakbo kasi hindi daw siya sasama dun sa mga grupong nag-aambisyon magpresidente o dun sa mga individual na nag-aambisyon magpresidente. Don't shut the door! Okay. It's really hard to be nadadaan-daanan kasi ako ng mga tao dito. Okay. Next. Of course, before that, it was Senator Manny Pacquiao who had, fell into our radar all of a sudden, di ba? Because of the goings on within the PDP laban. So, pero ano yung message nitong One Sambayan? Mag-unite kami. We'll be a united opposition because being united is the only way we're going to be able to beat this group, this Duterte aligned group. They're counting on two things. One, mag-unite talaga sila. And two, that the majority party or the presidents, those who are aligned with the president, will not field different candidates. In other words, magkakaroon lang they're counting on the fact na maraming gustong mamulitika, maraming gustong sumali dito sa intramurals that we call elections. It's very, very interesting talaga. na this early at kahit pandemya, ayan ang nangyayari sa atin. Diba? Next. Sorry. Switch accounts dito sa Let me look at your questions. Sila mag-unite, sabi ni Mikey Fine-san. Susme, kanya-kanyang pabibo yan. So, in fact, pag nakita niyo yung composition nito, can you open the door, please? Don't shut it, I keep it open. Okay, sorry about that. Commercial yan. That's interesting about the Sambayan is that what they're saying and what they're showing are two totally different things. Like democratic, pero andyan yung bayan muna. That makes no secret naman of the fact that they're supportive at least of the ideals of the NPA. Hindi naman natin sinasabing front organization sila, although that is asserted by some of the people who testified before the Senate. Okay. Ano pa? The Magdalo is there who have tried to overthrow governments before. That's hardly democratic because a democratic means of changing leadership should be contained in the Constitution. You have impeachment for impeachable officials. You file cases against officials who have violated administrative rules or criminal laws, or in the other instance, there are elections. So using undemocratic means of changing leadership hardly reflects on the democratic principles of one sambayan. Diba? It, sabi ni Clarita Reyes, hindi daw yata nila nakita na sinama si Angel Locsin. Well, you never know. For now, all they're saying is that they are looking for candidates. Diba? So wala pang hindi pa yan tapos. For all you know, mamaya andyan na rin si Angel sa kanilang Senate lineup. If things continue the way they are doing right now, then makikita natin baka mas marami pang tumanggi sa kanila. Kasi sa totoo lang, sino ba yung mga superstar nitong One Sambayan? There's former Justice Antonio Carpio, who is more known for his opposition and his campaign regarding the South China Sea, or what we call the West Philippine Sea, and he was a former justice of the Supreme Court. Hardly somebody who connects with the masses. The other, Conchita Carpio Morales, again, former justice of the Supreme Court and later on ombudsman, also somebody who's too too up there para makasalimuha sa mga masa. And then Albert Del Rosario, also somebody who doesn't appear to have any real mass base. So why are we going to consider them as the experts in choosing? Well, why would the opposition consider them the experts in choosing? Mostly, I think yung mga tao na nandun, they're united only in one thing. They don't like the president. And that's it. Diba? Yun na yun. Yun na yung pinaka claim to fame nitong mga to. That's the only thing that is keeping them together. And what kind of unification is that? I think all it says about them right now is that they're kind of desperate. Now, in order for them to have anything to show for it, is that they have to come together. So, ewan ko. I don't really think that this is something that we can expect them to be any good at. They have been very, very bad at it. Okay, so now, united or not, ang opposition is coming up with this interesting rhetoric. Unang-una, of course, we noticed that Senator Lacson has been asking about the vaccines. But even before he did so, marami ng ibang nagtatanong. And yung mga nagtatanong na ito ay, of course, yung mga nasa opposition. Well, that's not something that you see every day. Pero ayan na, meron na silang retorika tungkol dito. And for me, what really is interesting but also at the same time slightly inhuman, yung paggagamit nila ng pandemya bilang paraan para ma-discredit yung administrasyon. So the question for them now is nasan yung mga bakuna, umutang tayo in the trillions, etc. Parang lumalabas na, tinakbo nyo lang ba yung pera? Wala pa tayong vaccines. Unang-una, oo, umutang tayo, but that money doesn't go to the government for them to hold and then for them to pay out. Ang magpe-pay out niyan, yung mga taong inutangan natin. Second, wala pa talagang vaccines. Kasi if you look, we posted on Luminous, nag-post tayo ng mapa ng mundo at pinapakita doon kung ano man na yung mga status ng mga bansa, ng iba't ibang bansa, tungkol dito sa vaccination. And even the United States, number one in vaccinations right now, ilang percentage ng population nilang na-vaccinate na? Only about 33%. Okay? Sila yung number one. China has a little less than that, and then the UK after that. But the fact of the matter is, because of the demand, it is so high for vaccines, nakapila tayo. Buti nga nakatanggap tayo ng mga donations from China at meron din tayo dun from the UN. And that makes us extremely lucky compared to other countries who have not even gotten a single one. So ngayon, over 100 countries still do not have the vaccine. Bakit naman ganon? Diba? Bakit naman yung mga tanong, nasa na yung mga vaccines? Kung ba't umutang tayo doesn't mean magically umapir yung supply. But that doesn't stop the opposition or the fragments of the opposition to to continue trying out this rhetoric of saying failed ang government when it comes to dealing with COVID. Well, newsflash, diba? The whole world is having trouble dealing with COVID. Some are able to do it a little better than us, others worse than us. So it really, but of course, these people don't really care about the truth. What they care about is to present to try to demolish the current administration. And that's all. That's the only strategy they're capable of doing right now. Siraan ng siraan si presidente. Ano yung vulnerable? It's this vaccination thing. Sige, siraan natin tong vaccination na ito. Seriously? Kaya niyo yan? Not that they don't look like they're very good at it, because right now it's not making a dent on the popularity of the president, and that's something that they have not taken into consideration. Okay, double checking. All right. Let me check your questions. Okay, thank you very much dun sa mga super chat and super stickers, Sinaida Walton and Vic Pascual. Good evening, who says good evening. Watching this while working the night shift. Coffee is on me tonight. Thank you. Para sa kape. Yeah, it's kind of hard to stay awake. Pero interesting kasi yung nangyayari. We have to keep watching this. We have to keep watching because you never know. Baka biglang tumalino yung kabila. But as we also mentioned, thank you kay Benchmark Maps also on our super chat. The other thing that we have to notice is, one, we have to pay attention to the campaign rhetoric kasi things might sneak up on us. Second, the movements of the opposition. How are they doing this? Are they, Princey Tom rin pala, thank you very much. What other things are they doing? Are they reaching into the administration? Are they members of the administration? Yung kumbaga, meron bang mga tao sa administrasyon na sa tingin natin ay secretly with the opposition or already moving into the opposition? What about yung mga tao na nag-fragment ng administration? Yung mga may sarili-sarili silang ambition, so they don't really care about a united administration side. Hi kay Ma'am Rachel. Nanonood si Ma'am Rachel. Actually, Queenie. Okay. Sabi ni Alvin Puruganan Ramos, thank you. Informed ang mga simpleng mamamayan. Okay. So but that's what we don't need to we don't even need to be nasty to the opposition. All we need to do is to point out what they're doing wrong. And remember, a few weeks ago, there was this media press conference where yung mga media themselves, yung mga traditional media that are identified with the other partner, were wondering openly, what are they doing wrong? Baka dapat daw nire-report na lang sila sa lifestyle. Baka is it the language? Why aren't they getting through to us? Hindi coincidence na nagaganyan sila in the weeks running up to elections. And here are important dates that we have to remember para malagay natin sa konteksto itong mga pangyayaring ito. Ang deadline, ang dates for filing of candidacy are October 1 to 8, including Saturdays and Sundays. So yun yung time na magpapadala na file na ng certificates of candidacy. Elections are on May 9. Campaign period begins on February 8th for those who are running for national positions, and March 25 for those running for local elections. OFWs, overseas workers, will be casting their ballots from April 10 to May 9, while local absentee voters are scheduled to vote April 27 to 29. Ito yung mga taong Ah, ito yung mga taong local lang sila, but they have to work in another place, not where they're voting, so they're allowed to vote ahead on April 27 and 29. So dun sa konteksto na ito, lalong-lalo na, alam natin, October filing na ng candidacies, ngayon pa lang talagang kailangan nang lumabas yung opposition candidate, or magmumoro-moro sila na kunwari meron silang hinahanap na opposition candidate. Thank you kay Lloyd Loreto. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Okay. Okay. So let me check your questions. Sabi ni Elmer Maranan, I was in the police service before I came into Toronto. I was under Ping when he was chief PNP during Erap's presidency. Lacson should just shut his mouth up. Nagmamalinis siya, I will never vote for him. Yeah, but I think it would be interested to know why you won't want to. Karabo Tato says, oops, send me friend request. Ha, okay. You're welcome daw, sabi ni Prince Tamis. Nakita sabi ni Rain Pinebook. Francisca de la Cruz says, DAR. Ang kailangan po palitan ang ibang korap tulad ni Dar. Okay, I get it. But that's not, it's not our call. It's the president's call, which is for me very, very interesting. That namamayagpag sila. Well, some people might consider yung campaign rhetoric natin na i-expect will be why these people are kept there because they'll help in the campaign later on. Well, at least that's what I think that they're going to be using as an excuse for keeping on these incompetents. Or that's what, not an excuse, but that's what the opposition will be saying, kaya nandyan pa rin sila. Okay, sige, fine, whatever. Jepoy says, ang problema natin, opposition natin ngayon, destructive, hindi constructive. Okay. Yes, there's that. There is that, in fact. Sabi ni, nga no, ang daming scammers. I can't manage it right now, but I'll have to take them out later on. I can't do it alone here right now, and I can't even get into my YouTube right now. Guys, okay, I noticed the spammers, okay? But because I'm alone, I'm managing this by myself, I can't do anything right now. Okay, so it's a little difficult to expect me to continue with the discussion without being distracted by things like this. So please, let's not do this, okay? Do we have some loans na i-release lang once ma-deliver sa atin ng vaccine? No, it's not upon delivery, it's purchase. But they won't release it to us. They'll give it straight to the pharma. Okay? Dada says, hindi corrupt si Duterte, pero yung nagko-corrupt para sa kanya, I disagree with the para sa kanya. Marjorie Umali, okay. Okay. Hindi na uubra ang mga black propaganda, sabi ni Juanito Osorio. Black propaganda nila sa gobyerno, nakatulong ang mga bias media kasi nasusoplak na sila sa social media. Okay. Mary Ann Ferial Bautista says, the Swedish Public Health Agency is stopping AstraZeneca's vaccine temporarily throughout Sweden, pending the European Medicines Agency's investigation into possible side effects. To date, 17 million doses of AstraZeneca have been distributed worldwide, but after the reported cases of blood clots in recent days, several countries have chosen to pull the emergency brake. Okay, that's another reason why why we're in slow motion. Well, it feels like it's in slow motion. Sabi ni June Cesar Maambong, hindi ba pwedeng kasuhan yung mga naninira about vaccines? Actually, under the Bayanihan 2 law, pwede. But even also under the, yeah, it was under the Bayanihan 2. I don't know if they included it in Bayanihan 3. Dapat po. Because false information about vaccines and about COVID itself should be cause to take down your posts. And you know why? Because it's dangerous in a time of pandemics. That's why on social media, tinatanggal yung mga posts that are really dangerous. Yeah, things like the unwarranted conspiracy theories. So, Evelyn Kamanay says, grabe desperado na talaga sila. Pati si Trillanes isinali sa pagpipilian kandidato na magpapabago raw sa ikagaganda ng pamunuan ng bansa. Isa lang naman aim nun, ipakulong si PRRD, aso pa siya. True. I second, okay. Please run sa senatorial elections. Guys, please don't suggest people who will edit for me and all that. I actually do have one, but he's not here right now. So, really, seriously. I can't run for Senate because I don't want to. Keep safe. All right, thank you. Checking on our Facebook account here right now. One Sambayan Coalition ng mga trapo at dilawan. Well, yes, that is interesting to note. Although, Justice Carpio is not, well, I wouldn't consider him trapo because he, prior to becoming Justice of the Supreme Court, what he was Presidential Legal Counsel. So, his participation in politics was never direct. Let me see. What happened to them? What happened sa Tindig Pilipinas? Well, okay, that's interesting because Tindig Pilipinas was very, very short-lived. Well, they were there for the elections in 2019, but nasiro sila dun eh. So they can't keep using that because it connotes to a group. It relates too directly to a group that lost. Nobody wants to be associated or affiliated with a group that lost. Thank you kay Ma'am Senaida Walton. Clarita Reyes says mga bitter lang sila. Agree. So, can't imagine Trillanes in a ticket. Oo nga eh. Nag-warning ng UK at EU shortage of vaccines, sabi ni Ferdinand de la Cruz. So as domino effect, maapektuhan ang supply natin dito sa Pilipinas. Which if this happens, Dilawans will make bad rhetoric again against PRRD. Yes, that's why we're talking about it. That's why it's essential na pinag-uusapan natin to para kumalat din yung balita. Sasabihin natin na we have to be careful now about the criticism. Yun ang nakakainis eh. Kasi yung opposition natin, hindi sila maprinsipyo eh. Hindi sila nag-oppose because they really want change or they want the government to be better or for better governance. Nagka-criticize sila para mapanira, makasira sila. At yung paninira na yun, gagamitin lang nila para sa eleksyon. So, there you go. The intention is important ha, kasi now it makes us suspect. It makes us suspect what they are saying. Parang, are you saying this because you want to change goals so that government can take this your criticisms and then change for the better? Or are you just saying this? Kumbaga, yung sinasabi mo aren't actually true kasi naninira lang kayo. Sabi ni Gadoy, nakikiride lang ang One Sambayan sa programa niyong Tambayan. One Tambayan, ganun? Alright, there you go. I don't even consider them opposition or resistance. They're just plain dead weight, sabi ni Marjali Rita. Nice one. Sabi ni June, okay, this is an interesting question. Di ba declared na terorista ang CPP-NPA? National lang ba o internationally din po? Kasi kung internationally, bakit hindi na natin habulin si Joma na pinuno nila na nagtatago sa ibang bansa? Okay, ganito po yun, no? Even if he was declared a terrorist, hindi pa rin tayo mabibigyan ng right na ipa-deport siya or to have him deported back to us. It's wala tayong extradition treaty with the Netherlands. Importante po 'yun. And that's an agreement we have so that we can have them send home Filipino nationals who have broken the law here, subject to the conditions of the extradition treaty. What the declaration of the CPP and NPA as terrorist organizations, yung organization na yun, the individual members still have to be, ito yung ang basa ko sa Anti-Terrorism Act is that the individual members to be declared as personally as terrorists also have to go through proceeding. Okay. Ngayon, hindi sila declared. CPP and NPA are not declared, or at least they're not declared by the court. They're designated by the Anti-Terrorism Council. And itong designation na to allows an investigation to be conducted, and you can use the tools that are provided for in the Anti-Terrorism Act. Meaning, pwede kayong humingi ng wiretapping warrant from the Court of Appeals, pwede kayong mag-detain itong isang taong to dahil miyembro siya ng grupo na ito for 14 days kung sa tingin natin meron silang gagawin na terrorist act, and so on. So it opens up investigations. Pwede rin pala yung sa mga bank accounts nila, maaaring kalkalin. Hindi pa po considered na criminal ang mga ito because the court has not pronounced them as criminals yet. Kailangan dumaan sa isang proceeding of declaration in the Court of Appeals. Magkaka-presentation of evidence doon, and they will be allowed to participate. So please make a distinction between the designation by the Anti-Terrorism Council at yung proscription by the Court of Appeals. Okay? Hindi po pareho yon. At hindi komot dinesignate ang CPP at NPA ay automatic yung mga miyembro nila ay kriminal. We still have to adduce evidence, kailangan magpakita pa ng ebidensya dun sa participation nila within these terrorist organizations kasi hindi siya proscribed. Kung proscribed yung organization na yon, mere membership becomes a crime. Pero yung mere membership na yon, papatunayan pa rin sa hukuman. Okay? Ivy says, nope, si Miss Conchita Carpio Morales po ang auntie ni Mans Carpio na husband ni Mayor Inday. Okay. Watching from Cyprus, si Ma'am Teresa Dulnuan. And, let me see. Okay, there we go. It's a shame for one sambayan to say that they're for democratic government, pero lumalabas na nagiging authoritarian sila. I agree with that one too. Oops, meron ako na-miss. Thank you kay Bench McNabb. She says, glad I was able to watch you live this morning. Kudos to you and all the efforts you're doing. All right. Okay, one more. Lloyd Loreto. Thank you very much for your super chat. I second, let me see. Good PM, sabi ni Jean Jagers. Hindi ko ramdam na 3% or 11% lang sila. Most of my friends in my real account are supporters of opposition. Also, when I see arguments on neutral random posts, madaming dilawan. Hopefully, I'm wrong. All right. Let me see. Hi po. Dapat bantayan ng Smartmatic at Comelec. And that's yes. Tama yan. Tama nga talaga, but sorry talaga, sabi ni Edwin ko, akala ko talaga may style yung buhok mo, yung halaman pa lang nasa likod. Mga Democrats pala sila, disqualified si Trililing kasi Nationalista Party. Chester Kapua says, why is the PCO not doing their job? Lalo na yung nag-leak na hashtag na Duterte Palpak. That's intentional kahit pa mag-explain ang PTV. Well, okay. Hiwalay natin yung PCOO as an office because uh, the only relation PCOO has to PTV is that they share the same boss. So the PCOO secretary has control, supposedly control and supervision over PTV. But the direct boss of PTV is, of course, the station manager or the chief, and that's Kat De Castro right now. I'm not sure what you mean by not doing their jobs kasi kung i-relate niyo sa PTV, well, those are two different organizations. Pero I think that you can call out the secretary for if hindi kayo satisfied dun sa, like me, not satisfied with the action or the explanation of PTV with regard to that hashtag. Andres Cabrera says, they make it look like marami nang tumatalon sa barko by using these Baduy na local celebs. Grabe, no? Oh, well, yes, that's true. Parang pinalalabas nila na, oh, yan, ano, parang come one, come all. We welcome everybody from the opposition, no matter what color you are, and no matter what side you are, ultra left, ultra right, kasama kayong lahat dito, magpadami lang sana sila. Well, they're free to try. That's the nature of a democracy, but it doesn't mean that they're going to succeed. Sabi ni Joseph, they still haven't learned from the last two elections. People are after authenticity and very well see through whatever disingenuous BS message they're trying to propagate. More lives, please. Okay. Hindi ba kayo nagsasawa? I'm on radio twice a day already. Well, most of the time, I'm on radio twice a day, tapos nagla-live pa tayo. Baka magsawa po kayo. That's the reason why I don't do live every day. Jack Hammer says, nabanggit na naman ni PRRD kanina yung issue sa tubig. Sana matuluyan na yan bago bumaba si PRRD. To be fair, the president is truly sincere, but let's not discount that the water companies are also fighting it. Doesn't look like it, but they are. FYI, PRRD, Bongo and Company are here in Tacloban. Glad to know yung mga nagbalik loob na bigyan ng tulong. Good sign na sincere ang Duterte administration na sila itulungan. Yes, that's an essential part of the consolidating. Now, here's something that we are not hearing from any of the people who claim that they are opposition. We are not hearing them say that they are going to end terrorism or going to end the communist insurgency. Diba? Because yung ginagawa ng mga, well, those who have led us for over 30 years, with the possible exception of Gloria Arroyo, lahat sila merong pagbabalik loob. Meron silang attempt to peace talks, di ba? Tapusin na natin itong communist insurgency. Peace talks, peace talks. Forever peace talks, walang nangyayari. Ang nangyayari, lumalakas lang yung insurgency. This is the first time that the president has been this serious, which is why I guess ang tindi ng opposition when it comes to the communist terrorist groups, the NPA, which strikes me as unusual. Why would anyone support this organization? It's a bandit organization, sa totoo lang. And that's what the president says also. They're no longer an ideological group, meaning wala sila talagang pinaglalaban. Yung mga nasa bundokan at nakikipagbarilan, wala silang pinaglalaban. They're just there to try to earn. That was Harry, matching si Harry. Okay? So that's another thing that we should be listening for and looking into dun sa communications nila. They are not telling us that they will end local terrorism, domestic terrorism. They are not telling us na tatapusin nila itong insurgency. Kung sabihin pa nga nitong mga ito that they are more interested dun sa na mag-peace talks ulit, that's it. That's it for me. I'm done with you, whoever you are. If you want to conduct more peace talks, we've done that. We've done that to death. We've done that even under Duterte. And he was the nicest. Right? Yung pag peace talks ba? Good faith pinalabas niya, he set free yung mga members ng negotiating panel nila so that Yamsons were set free, etc. There are a lot of other people that he set free, and most of those hindi na bumalik sa kulungan even when na call off na yung peace talks. Ayan, good faith. Who wants to conduct peace talks after that kind of showing? Wala silang good faith. Diba? And then what did they do during the peace talks? They still attacked our soldiers. So, no. Seriously, no. Natanong ni Joseph, follow-up, wala na bang hearing sa Supreme Court on the ATA? Ito yung pinaka-aabang na round-up sa live nyo. Medyo exciting marinig yung exchanges. Well, I understand that there have been reports that some of the justices were tested positive for COVID, so that might be it. Because some of them are still in quarantine, but I'm not sure who exactly are supposed to be positive. I think nag-iingat lang yung mga justices natin, kaya wala po silang oral arguments. Because as we know, the Department of Justice nag-shut down na ganun din sa sa House. Speaker Lord Alan Velasco has announced that sarado muna yung Kongreso kasi may ilang nag-positive sa kanila, and so many other government agencies are doing that. So that might be it. Wala pa po. We're waiting kung matutuloy yung oral argument with the with the with the Solgen. But with the retirement of Chief Justice coming up, baka matagalan pa yon. Ngayon, hindi naman problema pag natagalan yung oral arguments dito or natagalan yung kaso kasi wala pang ang TRO, walang TRO na in-issue. So habang wala pong temporary restraining order or preliminary injunction na order ang Korte Suprema, tuloy-tuloy po yung pag-execute at saka pag-administer ng batas on anti-terrorism. Oh, nanonood si Ma'am Teresa Malasarte Smith from England. Nice. Ano bang effect pag hindi complete ang boto ko sa Senate candidates? Like, last time, hindi 12 sinulat ko, half lang yata. Pero kasama doon, Atty. Gadon, Bongo, Doc Willie. Advantage ba sa mga trapos o dilaws yun? Actually, if there are people who we think are slightly weak, or weaker kasi wala silang makinarya and all that. O, classic example, halimbawa, Atty. Glenn Chong. Ang gagawin ko, hindi ko pupunuin yung balot. Kasi, yung iba, wala na talaga silang maipasok kung sino-sino na lang ilalagay nila. Ay kung popular na yung mga yon, lalayo at lalayo yung lead nila. Dinadagdagan natin yung lead nila, samantalang itong iba, hindi makahabol because they have weaker machinery, pero we want them to win. So if there are those who are slightly weaker or weak and we're worried about them getting into the top 12, then sila lang ang iboto natin, ilagay doon sa balota. And then make sure, of course, well, yung sinasabi ng iba baka gamitin hindi na po yun. What we want to do is make sure that magkaka-lead vote sila. So there will be ballots na sila lang ang lumilitaw doon and hindi na dadagdagan yung boto doon sa ibang mga kandidato. Otherwise, lalayo masyado Sabi ni Henar Carlos, masaya ngayon ng tao dito sa US na tanggap na ang third stimulus checks na $1,400 each kung sa mag-asawa with 2 kids, $5,600 at tax-free. Well, dito in-announce na ng gobyerno na hindi na talaga kakayanin ang cash na ayuda. Anong balita kay Abnoy? Sabi ni Joey Cruz, totoo bang nasa ICU siya? Well, I haven't heard any news either way. Okay? Maraming chismis pero wala akong naririnig na balita talaga. RTB says, big no to peace talks talaga. Lokohin na lang ng CPP, NPA, NDF mga sarili nila. Alan Joel Aniceta po says, yes, I agree with you. At nakapagtataka bakit hindi ma-resolve itong problema natin sa insurgency. It could be na politically nagagamit sila kung hindi pa kay PRRD, hindi ito mabibigyan ng solusyon. Yun yung point. That's why when you have a president that decides that he wants accomplishments rather than all talk, then you have a president who will do something like this, diba? Jomar Manyalak says, when Carpio said that Grace Poe was a mockery on PH elections noong 2016, now she is top choice of one sambayan ek nila. Hypocrite si Attorney Carpio. Wait, which Carpio is this? Which Justice Carpio? Is it Carpio Morales or Justice Antonio Carpio? Bakit po hindi ipinapatupad ni PRRD ang Article 12, Section 17 to 18 ng 1987 Constitution? You mean a takeover of the ano? Um, hmm, because it raises interesting new legal issues. And we expect that do you honestly think the water companies are going to give it up without a fight? You're going to have to balance two things. When undertaking something like this that is so adversarial, then you have to anticipate that the other side is going to do something about it. Diba? So I think that the president is weighing the pros and cons of it. He's not going to use that very easily. Why? Yeah, because as much as possible, the government doesn't use force if they can get something through talks. That's a standing policy in every government, in any administration. There's some administrations that just don't care, diba? So, for example, classic case in point, the impeachment, the fake impeachment of during Noynoy's time. Chief Justice was impeached over what? They had no evidence of any wrongdoing, actually. Diba? And against Justice Corona. They pushed through with it, they forced it. And now, years later, Justice Corona is vindicated. Their name in history is mud, and they can't win an election. Diba? This is one of the reasons we dislike the Aquino administration so intensely. These things have a negative fallout. You have to balance that with what we want to do. Uh, Watching from Sweden, si Lenny Munoz. Mike Sharona is telling Jamshid na matulog na. Babysitter. Jamshid says, ngayon lang nakasali sa live kasi walang net sa office, wala din home radio sa Davao, kaya di nakapakinig ng karambola. Okay. Right, so I guess that's it. May karambola pa tayo bukas, so we better let me just check. Do you have any more questions? But we'll take on 2 or 3 more. If not, we're going to close because we have karambola tomorrow and we can discuss other matters. Have you seen the statement of former Justice Carpio on GMA, where the criteria for choosing the right candidates, but clearly I think was trying to campaign for the opposition? Well, yeah. What do you think they are? It's a united opposition, di ba? Okay. Ano to? Mike Feinsan says, why can't the IATF require incoming OFWs and incoming Pinoys holding Philippine passports get a swab test before taking a flight to the Philippines? And that will prevent the spread of COVID here. Well, they could get it kasi en route, on the way. So, hindi, ganito yan eh. Normally, with people coming in, what you require is a test result, of course, and then a short quarantine period here, and testing also when they arrive here. I'm not sure why they set a quota for this, kasi pwede naman, that's what we've been doing all the time. Unless nauubusan na rin tayo ng resources for the quarantining. I'm not sure. Okay. From Cebu, sabi ni Britchat, bakit wala silang kadala-dala? Sample 8 diretso. The other side. Look, if they don't field any candidates, they will be completely destroyed. They don't exist anymore as a party because, di ba, kung hindi ka kaya magpatakbo man lang, even if there's 0 chance of winning, then they'll count you out. You're no longer a party. Sabi ni Olivia Marimla, all politics is local and malakas ang mga Duterte sa local scene. Hindi na makakahabol si Mrs. Robredo. Oh yeah, she was the other one, diba? So it was Isko, Grace Po, Robredo, and Nancy Binay, whom they say they're considering. I'm not sure. But they didn't say, of course, for what position. Okay, Rain Pine Book, it's very dangerous for what you're saying. You're actually espousing the commission of a crime. Please don't do that. At least not on social media. That's very dangerous. I cannot read that out loud. Sana dumating ang araw na maging senador ka, sabi ni Jimmy Reyes. Yikes. Okay. All right. Sabi ni Tatay Strauss Fernandez, I'm in Davao and I'm subscribed to Luminous, FB, and YT. Also with Tambayan and Karambola. Thank you very much. Janet Owen says, good evening. Okay. Let me see. Nabakunahan na, pwede na kayong pumunta sa Pilipinas. Wala pong ganun sa criteria na present. For the next 2 weeks po, I think we're going to have to hold off on trips going back to the Philippines. Chester Kapua says, what is your take on Go Rodrigo Duterte 2022? Well, for me kasi, ang dami kasi lumalabas na permutations. Go Duterte, Duterte, and so on. I'd like to wait before I don't form opinions about this yet. Kasi nga, they seem so ephemeral. Yung parang susulpot yung suggestion na yan, mawawala. Susulpot another one, mawawala. So I don't really waste time yet evaluating it. Kasi masyadong, alam mo yun, bugso-bugso lang eh. It doesn't seem to be exactly that serious. Benchmark Lab says, travel to the Philippines, inoculated na po kami from the US. Ano yung protocol, gusto ko nang umuwi. Huwag muna in the next 2 weeks. Kasi nga may quota eh. And if you're an OFW, sure, but you still have to meet up with the quota. Okay. Si Carpio ba, tinanong ni Dan Taborat, tumatandang paurong, guys, wag naman ganun. Ang tanga kasi pumili ng kandidato, si Tililing ba naman at si Luga? Well, I don't know if kino-consider siya as a candidate for the Senate or even as a candidate at all. Alam ko, yung lumabas na parang poster or meme just shows that they are supportive or part of the group. Okay. BBM Sara, na yung nagsasabing gano'n. I think that's really the unbeatable team, BBM Sara. Sinong gusto niyo na tandem sa President and Vice President watching from Turkey? Tinatanong ni Hani. How about po sa tweet ni Senator Lacson na Philippine loan? Ano po opinion ninyo? TRRD says it's a bank-to-bank transaction. Yeah, that was the early part of this live. United Opposition, sa amin po dito sa Bulacan, ang UO ay kasing kahulugan ng idinideposito sa CR. I didn't see that coming. Henry Carlos is asking, totoo po ba makakasuhan ba si Senator Pacquiao sa COMELEC? For what? I don't think Senator Pacquiao has violated any rules yet, has he? Gusto naman na naman nilang kontrolin ng Pilipinas, dadami na naman mga adik at NPA. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today at lahat ng sumali rin dito sa super chat at saka super stickers natin. Maraming salamat for those who have participated in this entire live. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. We'll be on Karambola tomorrow, 8 to 10 ng umaga. And we'll be live again over the weekend. Hindi po daily yung live kasi baka magsawa kayo. I don't want to be constantly on your newsfeed, di ba? Maraming salamat. We'll see you tomorrow on Karambola. Harry says good night now. See you tomorrow. Ano daw? Cookies? Okay. Oh, yes. The baker at Mermaid Bake says, don't forget her. We'll see you tomorrow.